Nature is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by viewers like you, your gas company, and America's natural gas industry, who have developed ways to run buses, cars, and trucks on clean natural gas in order to reduce pollution and help preserve the environment. Siemens, a whole new world of ideas in electronics and electrical engineering. Siemens, precision thinking. And by Canon, quality and innovation for the way we work and live. Canon.
This is George Page. Join me and Russian naturalist Nikolai Drozdov as we travel to a land born of fire, the final adventure in the realms of the Russian bear. The west coast of the United States is densely populated, highly developed, and world famous. The Pacific coast of the vast Russian Federation, which is in fact their east coast, is sparsely populated and little known, even here in Russia. Until recently, the lands of the Russian Pacific were closed to foreigners because of the former Soviet Union's military interest there. And so, what we shall see in this, our final program, few will have ever seen before. Not military secrets, but well-kept natural secrets.
Yes, George. Our Pacific coast is the richest and most spectacular part of Russia, with the biggest bears, magnificent sea eagles, and the largest tigers in the world. And if that's not enough, our Far East has huge and very active volcanoes. When we were filming, for the first time in my life, I was able to land inside one of the craters. Hello, здравствуйте. I'm now in Kamchatka, only a few miles from the Pacific Ocean. It's half a world away from Moscow. In fact, it's taken me 10 hours to fly here, equivalent to the time it takes to fly from London to Los Angeles. Kamchatka is one of our most spectacular places, with no less than 33 active volcanoes. This is Mitnovsky volcano, and I am standing on the edge of its crater and smelling the sulfur of it.
This land is born of fire. With molten rock just below the surface, it's as if the whole world boils and bubbles. Mitnovsky and other volcanoes here are part of the Ring of Fire, a circle of volcanic activity that sweeps around the Pacific, from Antarctica to the tip of South America. Kamchatka lies in Russia's Far East, extending south towards Japan. To the west, the Sea of Okhotsk separates this fiery peninsula from the rest of Russia. At well over 16,000 feet, Kluchevsky is the highest volcano in the whole of Eurasia. Other volcanoes have blown themselves apart, forming massive craters. The one that holds Lake Kurilsky is half a mile deep and 6 miles across. Kamchatka depends upon the Pacific. The ocean drives its climate, and many of its creatures rely upon the fertility of the sea. The ocean floor has volcanic forces of its own, and these thrust huge islands out of the water.
These sheer cliffs are ideal nesting sites for millions of seabirds. Their social gatherings resemble our crowded markets, so we call these colonies bird bazaars.
Among them are 9 kinds of auks.
At the end of May, the nesting slopes are still covered by snow, but courtship is well underway. Tufted puffins are unique to the northern Pacific. Both sexes grow yellow plumes in the spring. The projections above their eyes give horned puffins their name.
Puffins mate for life. This gentle sparring of bills reinforces the pair bond. Other social signals are directed towards neighboring pairs.
This comical walk means, keep off, this is my nest site.
The seabirds attract my country's most magnificent bird.
The Steller's sea eagle, with a 9-foot wingspan, it's the biggest eagle in the world. It's a close relative of a great American symbol, the bald eagle. Both hunt fish and aquatic birds. The other birds flee before it, but this time the male wasn't hunting. His mate on the nest has plenty of food.
This is a rare bird. There are only 2,000 pairs in the world. Most breed on our Pacific coastline.
It's incredible that such a fierce and powerful bird can be so gentle with its chicks.
Our greatest seabird spectacle occurs at sunset, when 1,000,000 crested auklets arrive at their nest sites.
In a week or two, the snow will melt and they'll start laying their eggs. The birds are now in full breeding plumage.
Way to the south, there is another part of Russia's Far East. Ussuri Land, on the Chinese border. Here, ancient volcanoes are cloaked in an extraordinary forest, nurtured by moisture from the Pacific. This land has a unique combination of animals and plants from Asia and Siberia. Ussuriland is the home of the largest cat in the world, the Siberian tiger. In the 1940s, only about 25 of these beautiful cats remained, but luckily they were protected. Today, as many as 300 roam these forests, although they're elusive and rarely seen.
It's early spring, and Siberian chipmunks have emerged from hibernation. They've already begun stocking up for next winter, cramming seeds into their cheek pouches to bring back to the den for storage. This one takes time out to actually eat one, instead of squirreling it away for winter. When the ice melts, the forest pools become centers of activity. Underwater twigs are festooned with egg masses of Siberian salamanders. Males advertise their territory with flicking tails and extravagant yawns, behavior which has never been filmed before. If another male gets too close for comfort, a fight breaks out. Most of their eggs have been laid, and they'll soon leave the water. But for other amphibians, breeding is at its peak. In my country, these Far Eastern frogs are unique to Ussuriland.
Siberian forests and oriental wildlife. Ussuriland is a place where the far north meets the far east. Among the oriental plants in Ussuriland is the delicate rhododendron. It features in Japanese paintings and is a reminder that Japan is only 300 miles away. On the rivers are birds that winter in China. Mandarin ducks, symbols of love and fidelity, have appeared in Chinese art since the 6th century. In Russia, they breed only in Ussuriland. Japanese red-crowned crane is another magnificent Russian bird. Though they're also found in Japan, China, and India, they are one of the most endangered birds in the world. All 4 countries are involved in projects to help save this feathered treasure. Fortunately, they feed on a wide variety of food, which increases their chance of survival. This long-legged wader will eat almost anything, including plants, fish, worms, insects, mice, and even small birds. It's a long way from mouth to stomach. They nest and feed in marshes and wetlands. In Ussuriland and in other parts of Russia, many of these regions have been set aside as nature reserves. The cranes return to the same breeding grounds every year. The chick follows its parents soon after hatching. Both parents help raise their young. The pair is mated for life.
Nature reserves can be found throughout my country. They've become vital refuges for many endangered species. One success story is here on Ussuriland's Pacific coast. The goral is a type of goat antelope. Like any mountain climber, footwear is extremely important. Their hooves are designed to cling to the rocky terrain. Once this animal was on the verge of extinction, but by protecting the species and its habitat, Russia has helped save it. In Ussuriland, Arctic waters full of nutrients mix with currents from the south. This fertility and warmth produces an abundance of life. The shallows are dominated by the colorful family, the sea urchins and their kin. Cushion stars glide over the rocks with their thousands of tube feet. These are sea cucumbers, a delicacy in Vladivostok and Japan. These waters are the domain of our giant octopus. The octopuses catch crabs and scallops, which they consume in their dens. But the best real estate needs to be defended from intruders. These octopuses can be real monsters, growing to 10 feet or more. This one will go house hunting elsewhere. These fertile waters are home to the world's largest sea lion. The bulls of stellar sea lions can be 9 feet long and weigh up to a ton.
They'll sometimes catch and kill seals, but squid and fish are their main food.
These shimmering schools of fish provide food for millions of seabirds. It's July. On our northern Pacific islands, the breeding seabirds have many different feeding strategies.
Puffins hunt far out to sea. They can carry one fish or up to 20 or more. Others fish close to the shore. Spectacled guillemots only breed here and in northern Japan. Above them, every inch of ledge is loaded with birds. Brunics and common guillemots can dive down to 80 feet to catch fish for their chicks. Horned puffins return with fish about 6 times a day. Older chicks are not fed directly by the parents. They simply drop the food onto the floor of the burrow.
Auklets have a different feeding strategy.
They have a special throat pouch for carrying food back to their chick. As it's been a successful season for the seabirds, remarkably, both eagle chicks have survived. Now the parents tempt them to fledge.
Everyone is afraid of these eagles. The aggressive ravens do their best to chase them off. Soon, the young eagles will be feared hunters like their parents.
In midsummer, the sun barely dips below the horizon. The days are long and tranquil. And yet for some, this is a most perilous time.
Ancient miralets are our smallest seabirds. They have no throat pouch to transport food, so the chicks are never fed in the nest.
When they're only 2 days old, the chicks must follow their parents to the feeding grounds. Encouraged by their parents' cries, the chicks head for the sea.
The size of a ping-pong ball, the tiny miralets are in a race against the dawn. They must reach the sea under the cover of darkness.
At daybreak, it's not only their parents that are waiting for them.
exhausted stragglers must run the gauntlet of gulls.
Back in Ussuriland, heavy summer rains create a steamy, lush jungle in this corner of Russia. This rainforest is adorned with exotic flowers.
Ussuriland is such an odd place. These forests have northern trees, spruce, maple, birch and pine. But they are entwined with subtropical lianas, or even Russia's largest snake. Schrenk's red snake grows up to 8 feet long. It is the only snake in Russia that deliberately searches for birds' eggs. While studying one in captivity, I found out how picky they are. I tried to give one a refrigerated egg, but she refused it. It may be fresh from my point of view, but not from hers. The yellow-throated martin is also on the lookout for birds' nests, but it hunts for eggs, chicks, and their parents. When I was a child, I used to see martins near my home, in the forest, but only a glimpse, for they are quick and very secretive. Predators have many kinds of birds to choose from in Ussuriland. About 400 species are found here. Blue and white flycatchers find so much to eat here that they can raise 2 broods of chicks every year. The much drabber female brings back a dragonfly. These tropical flycatchers will leave in a few months to spend the winter in Borneo or the Philippines. These humid forests are the home of Russia's biggest and most beautiful butterflies. These are marked swallowtails. Their wingspan can cover the palm of your hand. They've come to the riverbank for salt. They have to drink a lot of water to get enough salt. The excess water is continually excreted. Flotillas of white butterflies are also attracted to the salty ground. They're joined by emperors and admirals. The probing proboscis acts like a flexible straw. Swallowtails can live for a month or more, but only if they are lucky. The swallowtail is partially paralyzed with a swift bite. Now it must be immobilized in a sheath of silk. Orb spiders have 6 silk glands, each producing a different type of silk. Strands for wrapping prey are forced through nozzles on the spider's abdomen. The silken shroud conceals the prey from wasps or birds that may steal from the spider's web. Many people fear spiders, but I think they are fantastic. After all, someone has to be on their side. There is a place on earth and in my heart for all creatures. Ussuriland is our wettest place. The fast-flowing streams that tumble from the volcanic hills are home to brown dippers. When hunting underwater, silt could clog the bird's eyes, but these toughened white membranes keep the eyes clean. Caddis larvae are a favorite prey. The larvae build armored cases, but these are no defense against hungry dippers. These birds are resident all year, but other creatures only move into these streams to breed. The Pacific lamprey started life as an egg on this stretch of stream. Now it's returned to excavate a nest, shifting pebbles with its sucker-like mouth. These creatures are parasites. The mouth had a sinister use when the lamprey was at sea. The sucker and sharp teeth were used to hang on to marine fish and to feast on their blood. In other parts of the river, there are bizarre animals which have nostrils designed as snorkels. Chinese soft shells are turtles with a shell covered by leathery skin. fish are on their menu, if they can catch them. Fish swim too fast for these reptiles, so the turtle must rely on other tactics. Other exotic creatures hunt at the surface of the water. Oriental fire-bellied toads have backs of cryptic green and stomachs of stunning red. Fire-bellies feed on insects. Unlike most toads, they remain active during the day because they have a special defense against predators. Some hunters specialize in frogs and toads. This is our tiger snake. The toad's first line of defense is a quick retreat or remaining very still. As a last resort, they become contortionists when threatened by the snake. The red coloration is a danger signal, as the toad skins are loaded with poisons. Sensibly, the snake moves on.
At night, there's romance in the air. Nocturnal moths come out by moonlight to find a mate. It's the male's job to find the female. He detects her scent through sensory hairs located on his antennae. The lush tropical-like regions of Ussuriland provide a wide variety of food for insects, and plenty of it. The result is a great diversity of butterflies and moths, and many of them are huge. The lives of these beautiful creatures are brief, but for a few months they grace the summer nights of the Ussuriland forests.
In their quest for mates, male Chinese tree frogs engage in croaking tournaments. Some perches give a strategic advantage, and the frogs search for the best song posts. Competition between singers can lead to fights. largest males have the loudest croaks, and they have the best chance of mating. One of Ussuriland's strangest animals waits for the cover of darkness to reveal itself. Raccoon dogs now emerge from their den. These are pups. Once called Ussuri raccoons, they are now recognized as members of the dog family. But they are unusual dogs because they cannot bark and they hibernate in winter. And just like raccoons, they eat frogs. They were introduced to some parts of my country for their thick winter furs, but no one knew that they hibernated. Hidden in winter from hunters, their population grew fast. This mistake has now become a real problem. Just like raccoons, they can be real pests when they live near people.
The biggest cat in the world stalks the forest of Ussuriland. The Siberian tiger stands 4 feet at the shoulder and is 12 feet long from its nose to the tip of its tail. This is their stronghold, although they're also found in Manchuria and North Korea. They are extraordinarily elusive. Scientists try to study them, but the rewards are few. One researcher has been working for 3 years, but he has never actually seen one in the wild. All he can do is follow their trails and learn from the signs they leave behind. The forest in which these great tigers live developed on what was once an active line of volcanoes. Farther to the north in Kamchatka, where we began this episode, these volcanic forces are still very much alive. In this region of the Pacific, sections of the Earth's crust jostle and collide. Incandescent rock spews from the depths, forming Kamchatka's immense lava fields, and some of the world's most magnificent volcanoes. Some are extinct, and only cones of ash remain. Lakes form in the craters of others. Kerensky is an acid bath, a lethal mixture of sulfuric and hydrochloric acids. Kluchevsky is Russia's most active volcano. It's only as old as the pyramids, but in 7,000 years, it has built its perfect cone 3 miles into the sky.
I have been to these volcanoes many times. But while making this film, I did something I have never done before. The camera crew and I actually flew by helicopter inside an active volcano. It was a very risky expedition. There are poisonous sulfur fumes, bubbling lava, molten rocks, powerful geysers, and an inferno just below your feet. Any step could be your last. Any wind could send a cloud of poisonous smoke to engulf you. Suddenly, we got caught in a whirlwind of smoke and gas. It was quite tense for a few minutes, but we got out safely. Looking back, I can now fully appreciate this incredible experience, my trip to Dante's Inferno.
It's August at Lake Kurilsky. This land of volcanoes is now invaded by huge numbers of fish, fattened at sea. All over Kamchatka, the salmon are running upstream. Here, 5 million sockeyes have arrived to spawn in the shallows of the lake. Many are weak from their long migration and become stranded. Now they become food for the wildlife of Kamchatka's interior. Otters will eat almost anything, but given a choice, they always prefer fish.
After a summer feeding on seabirds, gulls now dig into a feast of salmon and caviar. Our greatest bears, called Kamchatka bears, also join in the feast. I remember once, when I was camping in Kamchatka, I saw an enormous figure on the river. It was a beautiful Kamchatka bear. The bear saw me, and we looked at each other for a moment. I was so mad because I had forgotten my camera. So I asked the bear to stay there for a little while I ran back to get my camera. I figured it couldn't hurt to ask. I ran to the tent and back again, to the same spot on the river. And there it was, as if it had understood. It hadn't moved an inch. I thanked it for waiting and snapped the shutter. What a picture I took! Like Americans have chosen the bald eagle for the symbol of their country, we too have chosen a powerful, majestic animal as the emblem of ours, the Russian bear.
Kamchatka, a land of ice born of fire. This is the last stop on our adventure through the former Soviet Union. We've explored the largest forest. We've trekked through baking hot deserts and plunged into the deepest lake on this planet. We were captivated by these natural wonders and learned so much about this land, whose doors once were closed to us.
Our journey through the realms of the Russian bear ends here, on the misty shores of the Pacific. Over the horizon is Japan. It certainly gives me great pleasure showing you our beautiful countryside. And I hope you enjoyed seeing some of our remarkable animals and plants. You see, despite our difficulties, we have much to treasure and to be thankful for. I hope we'll meet again. So until then, goodbye and good luck. До встречи и счастья вам!
Nature is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by viewers like you. Siemens, a whole new world of ideas in electronics and electrical engineering. Siemens, precision thinking. And by Canon, quality and innovation for the way we work and live. Canon. And by the gas industry, helping provide cleaner air with clean gas energy. This is PBS.